This is Just a Few Questions. Just a Few Questions. I'm your host, Marc Sims from Chicago, and I have Linal Harris on the line from Chicago. And Mr. Harris is a life coach, author, speaker, radio host. What else do you do, man? Mr. Harris?
Father,
Yeah.
husband.
Yeah.
And lately, during this pandemic, I'm a preschool teacher.
You doing the homeschool thing?
Well, I think we all are right now.
Yeah, because the kiddies are home. You got to do that. Man.
That's right. Yeah.
I'll try to keep this brief as possible. I want to ask you, because you are a life coach, you are a speaker, you're a radio host, you're an author. Linal Harris, how do we use this time of crisis, this coronavirus crisis, the time during this crisis, how do we use this time to produce real change in our lives? For the better now, produce real change for our lives for the better. How do we do that?
I say it's a phenomenal time for us to really, really begin to learn who we are. There's no better time than in crisis, especially when you're afraid, to really get a picture of who you are as a human being and what you're really made of. And I think right now, a lot of people are getting a really good look at themselves. They may not like what they see, but that's okay, because you're getting a look at who you are. And it's an opportunity to really build a relationship with ourselves in a way that we don't normally get that chance when we're busy in the hustle and bustle. So I'd say the best way to use this time is to get to know yourself.
Yeah, but you see, when people see your picture, you're handsome, man. You're very bright, man. You're intelligent. You're dynamic. You have a lot of things going for you. But there are people here who don't feel they have a lot of things going for them. They are paycheck to paycheck. They're unskilled, uneducated, or you could be older and you're about to be forced out of the work environment. They're gonna put you. We don't need your old behind no more. We're not gonna pay you what you're worth. You're out of here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So whether you're young or whether you're old, there are going to be some challenges. So how do you say, okay, I don't have some talent, but this is what I should do. I do have talent. How do I keep this going a little bit longer?
Well, this is where you tap into spirit. See, the thing is, you started off talking about the outside physical, and a lot of times what happens is we get so caught up in that, we get caught up in this external world that we forget that this is a spiritual journey. And so because it's a spiritual journey, when we learn who we are, we tap into spirit, that's where we source our power. That's where we get our connection to God. That's what sources our faith. And that's what makes the things that seem impossible possible. And so, yeah, okay, I have all those things going for me. But at the core of it is I'm clear on who I am. And that provides my connection to God that has allowed and created my success. Linal Harris didn't do that by himself. Otherwise, I'd be no different from anyone else.
Yeah, I'm in Chicago. You're in Chicago, and there's a lot of places like Chicago. The church is everywhere, and if people don't go to a church, they say, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. But here in Chicago and many places around America and around the world, there is a lot of poverty. So people believe they believe in spirit, they believe in a God, but they still fearful. They're still weeping and gnashing at their teeth every day.
Yeah.
How do you get over that?
Well, how do you faith?
They have a faith of a mustard seed. What are you saying? You know what I'm saying? People say they got faith, but they still broke.
Well, because faith is misunderstood and is not taught properly in the church. And I'm not going to say in the church holistically, but in most churches. And what I mean by that is faith is not just belief. You got to believe in something so much that you take action, and that you're willing to take action even when it doesn't make sense. You and I were talking before before we started recording about me leaving corporate America. I've been out of corporate America for 5 years. When I left, people said, well, that doesn't make sense. Didn't make sense because I was a corporate executive. I was making phenomenal money, stock options, equity stock. I mean, you name it. All that was coming in. Why would you leave that to become an entrepreneur as a life coach? Well, because it's part of my purpose. So I believe that was part of my purpose and how I'm supposed to live my life. I took the action, and this is where they stop. I took the action to leave, and then when I left, I stayed in action to create what I believe God had for me and my family, which was the vision, right? I stayed in action. So if it wasn't working, then I shifted the action. I didn't change the plan. I shifted the action. And unfortunately, what I find as a coach, that most people, unless they're taught how, they don't know how to take committed action. And that's why I think we see these disparities.
Is it that they quote unquote they don't have what it takes, or is that they don't believe they have what it takes to succeed?
They have what it takes. They're alive. If you're alive, you have a spirit. That spirit is, you're made in the image of God, which makes you a creator. They have what it takes. They just don't know how to tap into it. And that's my purpose, to teach people how to tap into it.
When they listen to your radio show on WVON, they come see you speak, they read your book, they will get some insight on how to tap in. Because because right now, man, there's some folks out here, including yours truly, you're like, man, where do we go from here? Because when you don't have enough money, or you feel you don't have enough money, you can't think straight. You're not going to make the best decisions.
That's true.
You're just not going to go out on faith when you got those bills to pay.
But see, that's the thing. When you say you're just not going to go out on faith because you have those bills to pay, then what we're doing is we're suspending faith. And I think that's where so many of us get in trouble.
The landlord don't want, he don't take faith, he take money. You know what I'm saying?
The landlord does take money. But see, here's the thing. Faith is based in a belief. If you believe that you are sourced, if you believe that everything's going to be taken care of, might not be taken care of this month, but if you can maintain that belief and take action in that belief, that's what faith is. And then when the landlord comes knocking the next month, if you believe you're going to have it, you'll have it. I firmly believe that. But what happens is, most of us, we get distracted. We get distracted by a no. Most of us don't know how to be with the word no. So we walk out, we say, oh man, I got this faith, I'm about to take on this brand new endeavor. We go to a few people and say, hey man, I got this idea. What do you think? You should be a part of this. They say no. And next thing you know, we're headed back home with our tail between our legs. And that's, we don't know how to be committed in the action we take. If they say no, then you keep going. If the next person says no, you keep going. The next person says no, you keep going. And that's where many of us struggle.
I think you're right. 'Cause it hurts when people say no, Mr. Harris. It's painful. It's painful. I mean, I haven't been in a pool in many years, and I haven't been on the deep side of the pool in, I don't know, eons, because I've been on the deep side of the pool. And when you start going down and you think, I really can't swim, I'm this pain, I'm going to die. And you run back to the shallow part. We all do. I've done it. I'm in the shallow part of the pool right now. How do we go? How do we get that? I mean, you talk about spirit, but without a coach, can you do this alone? Can you go to that deep part of the pool? Can you go out on faith all by yourself without Linal Harris helping you do these things you know you could do?
So, I mean, I'm not going to put it all on me. I believe it has a lot to do with the relationship that we have with God, our spiritual journey, and the support that you're willing to solicit. And when I say that, most people don't know how to get supported. And what I mean by that is if I'm in a situation where I'm at my wit's end, do I know how to actually admit that? Or does my ego suspend or pause any possibility of support? You get where I'm going?
Yeah, I got it. But I'm still
and that's
I'm
what
still
happens.
scared.
So we don't know how to get supported.
I need to listen to your radio show and read your book. Tell people about your book and tell folks about your radio show as we close out.
Oh, yeah. So my book is free. I made it free because I want to make it available to any and everybody. You can go to SlayerGoals.com to download the book absolutely free and get on my mailing list where I send out notes like what I'm talking about today. And you can also listen on Sunday mornings, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on WVON 1690 a.m., where I call it the best self-development show on radio, and we talk about these concepts, and people can call in and ask questions about these concepts as well.
I see you on Facebook. You're on, of course, WVON Radio is on the internet, iHeartRadio. You can find it.
That's right.
But
yep, you can.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, they can follow me on all social media at Linal Harris. That's Linal Harris. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, etc.
Your show is excellent. I think people need to read your book because people give up, and you sometimes you got to go back in the deep part of the pool, try it again, and not give up. So I hear you on the radio. I read your book. Your information on the bottom of this video. And Mr. Harris, I cannot thank you enough for doing what you do.
More than welcome. You're more than welcome. My pleasure.